Right, here we go. STYLARS Quest for Freedom, page 3. And hope a few more people subscribe, that'd be nice, and a few more books would be sold, that would be brilliant, but we'll see. So, here we go. So, Kyla's brow furrowed. Was it imagination, or was the female getting more eccentric as of late? Rani had heard a prophecy when she was but a girl. The people who kept them down here, away from the light, feared there would be an uprising. She wondered if this newborn was the tale come to fruition, or perhaps it was just her imagination that had got into much trouble throughout her life. In the shadows the birth had been witnessed. Two males looked on, their faces behind a material that was a composite of materials. If anyone could have seen through those masks they wore, they might have seen a degree of pride. This male was the first of his kind. He had been manipulated at a genetic level. Though the female had given birth to him, there was no similarities. He was a new species, the woman merely a vessel. His brain had been stimulated while inside her. He was a culmination of centuries of so many failures, but they had succeeded. It was fitting he had witnessed a male's birth, a lifetime of sacrifice now forgotten with this triumph. But this was only the first stage of a bigger plan. Malak, the healer, concerns me. She seems to always be at the center of events when we hear stories of unrest. Malak sneered at the younger male, whose name was Mado. You fool! The last thing we want to do is terminate one in so high a position. Do you want to create a martyr? Besides, if she had been a threat, he would have had her terminated long before she got to such a position within their community. Rani had been part of another set of clinical trials. The mortality rate for that particular experiment had been 98.7%. Malak smiled, remembering the team leader of that tragedy. The tragedy being that the pompous fool had ever got such an opportunity. Malak had only met him once. Once had been more than enough. Arrogant, self-opinionated. Yes, that was all his good points. Success would be rewarded as failure had been in the past. Yes, everything was proceeding as planned. Rani wandered through the birthing chambers as if she knew where she was going. The truth was, she had never been this far into the complex. Some areas still seemed to be under construction. Areas constantly changing for the requirements of the latest round of tests. Her people treated like specimens. The smell, as well, was that damp with disinfectant and perhaps bodily odours. She shouldn't think any more about it. She was beginning to think about evening meal. Perhaps their time was finally coming. Perhaps Kyla's son would be the weapon of their own destruction. There would be one interpretation of the prophecy. Perhaps if she was to ask a dozen people, she would get a dozen interpretations.